Okay, so lesson 2, we're looking at perimeter, and perimeter is it's kind of like the outline of the shape. We want to determine the lengths of all the different sides of the shape. So we need to add up this length for this square, this length, and this length. It's the sum of the lengths of all the sides. Okay, so question 1, find the perimeter of this rectangle here. Now, these little markings on the sides, what do they mean? Well, that just means that anything with this marking is going to be the same value as this side here. So because we've got 4 centimeters here, we have to have 4 centimeters here as well because it's got the same marking. And because we've got 2 centimeters here, we have to have 2 centimeters here as well because it's got the same marking. So if we want to find the perimeter is just the sum of all the sides, okay? So the sum of all the lengths of the sides. So we've got 2 centimeters here, plus 4 centimeters here, so we've got 6 centimeters, plus another 2 centimeters here, plus another 4 centimeters here. So altogether we've got 12 centimeters. So that's our perimeter. Okay, in this case, we've got 2 6 centimeter sides, and we've also got 2 2 centimeter sides. So we can say, okay, well, we've got 6 here and 6 here, so that's 12. Plus, we've got 2 here and 2 here, so that's 4. So 12 plus 4 is 16. So our perimeter here is 16 centimeters. We're just adding up all the different sides. Here we've got 6 on this side, so we're going to have 6 on this side as well. 9 here, so we're going to have 9 here as well. So it's going to be 9 plus 9 plus 6 plus 6, which is 30. Okay, find the perimeter of this shape. So now we've got a triangle, but they've given us all the sides, so we just have to add up all the sides. That's even easier than the last few questions. 7 plus 6 plus 5. Oh, and it's pretty important to know, it's easy for us because we've got multiple choice here, but you have to remember that if they give you the lengths in millimeters, then your perimeter also has to be in millimeters, okay? It's a length as well. So 18 millimeters. Okay, here we've got a pentagon, and because they're all these sides are marked with the same marking, that means that all of the sides are going to be the same length. So if we know one of the sides, we know all of the sides. So this side here is 3 meters, which means every single side is 3 meters. Now we can do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, but because we know that a pentagon has 5 sides, we can just do 3 times 5, and that's much quicker. So 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, here we've got an isosceles triangle. So we've got 2 sides the same in this triangle and 1 side that's different. So again, we just need to add up all the different sides. So we've got 85 here, and remember this side is the same as this side because it's got the same marking. So we've got another 85 here. So we need to add 85 plus 85, and then this last side here, which is 70. So we end up with 240 millimeters. Okay, here we've got like a trapezium, and it's given us all the sides, so that's nice and easy again. We just need to add them up. 18 plus 5 plus 15 plus 13. So in total, that's 51 centimeters. So the perimeter is 51 centimeters. Here we've got a bit of an irregular shape. So again, doesn't matter what the shape is, just as long as you've got a length for every single edge, every side of the shape, you can just add those up and the sum will give you your perimeter. So 10.6 plus 7.6 plus 8.1 plus 15.1 plus 11.2. And that gives you 52.6 centimeters. So that's our perimeter. Okay, now here, what sort of shape is this? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So this is a hexagon with 6 sides, and you can see that they're equal sides. It's a regular hexagon. So that means that all of these sides are going to be 2.5 meters. So if we've got 6 sides and they're all 2.5 meters, instead of adding them all up, we can just say 2.5 times 6, and that will give us the sum of all the sides. Because it's 6 lots of 2.5, or 6 times 2.5. So we get 15 meters. Okay, our perimeter in this case, it's a square, and you can see that they've got these markings. So every single side of this square is going to be equal in length, and one of the sides is 9. So that means all of the sides have to be 9. How many sides do we have? Well, we've got 4 sides. So we can just say we've got 4 lots of 9 here. So 4 times 9 is 36 centimeters. Now they've also given you the option of 36 centimeters squared here and 18 centimeters squared. But perimeter, it's only dealing with lengths, okay? And we're just adding the lengths to each other. So really, if you think about it, it's like if we opened up this square and we made all the sides kind of lie on the ground flat, like one big long side. And then we said, okay, what's the length of that side? So it's kind of just a lot of lengths. So our answer is going to be in a unit that measures length. So centimeters squared does not measure length. It actually measures area. So we're not going to worry about centimeters squared. Question 11 asks us to find the length of the arrow marked on the diagram. And the reason we're doing that is because when we're finding the perimeter, we need to know all of the sides, okay? We need to know all the side lengths. And in this diagram, they haven't actually explicitly told us this side length. They haven't put a little label here telling us the length of this side. But we can work it out using the other sides that they have labeled. Now, if you think about this as 2 rectangles, and you can create those rectangles any way you want. You can create it by drawing a line here. You can create it by drawing a line here. You can even draw one big rectangle and sort of just add on a line here and a line here, and imagine that there's a chunk taken out of the rectangle. Basically, what you need to do is look at this side of the rectangle, and we know it's a rectangle because we've got this right angle here as well. Look at this side that we're trying to find, and then come across the shape to the opposite side of the rectangle. Now, up here, we've got this section. The opposite side of this in the rectangle is going to be this 5 meters here. And we know that in a rectangle, the opposite sides are equal in a rectangle. So if this side here is 5 meters, this length is 5 meters, then this length here, up to this point here, is also going to be 5 meters. And we can do the same with this little shape that we created down here. We can say, okay, the rest of the length, this length here, is going to be equal to the opposite side of this rectangle, which is 3 meters. So we know now that we've got 3 meters here, and then on the top half, we've got 5 meters, well, not half. We've got 5 meters up here on this side, and then 3 meters here. So our total length here is going to be 5 plus 3. Okay, and you can look across at the lengths that are parallel to our length that we're trying to work out. You can see these 2 sides, they're parallel to the length that we were trying to work out. So they're opposite the rectangle. So we know our length is 3 plus 5, which is 8. All right, and we've got a similar question here with question 12. It says, what is the correct working to calculate the perimeter? So before we calculate the perimeter, we need to work out what all of our side lengths are. So we need to know what these unknown sides are. And again, we're just going to use opposite sides of a rectangle. So we're going to look at the parallel sides in this shape. So if we wanted to find this side here, let's look at the sides that are parallel to that. So we've got this side up here, which is 7 meters, that's parallel. And we've also got this side, which is 12 meters, that's parallel as well. So what that tells me is this 12 meter here, this longer side, 12 meters, has to be equal to, if we were to create an opposite side of the rectangle, it has to be equal to 7 meters plus this unknown length here, okay? If you were creating like a little skinny rectangle here, you could also create a large rectangle that goes all the way to here. And then it's like you're saying, okay, this 12 meters has to be equal to the opposite side of the rectangle. We know that this distance here is 7 meters because we know this is 7 meters. So this distance has to be 7 meters plus our unknown side. So either way you look at it, our unknown side has to be added with 7 to make 12, okay? So what can you add to 7 to make 12? 7 plus what gives you 12? Well, it's 5, isn't it? Because 12 minus 7 is 5. So this length here, the length of this side must be 5, okay? Now we just need to find this side up here. This is our other unknown side. And it's a similar kind of thing. Let's look at the lines that are parallel or that could be opposite a rectangle. So this line here, this 11 meter value, that's parallel to our unknown. And we've also got this 8 meter length here, which is also parallel. So that tells me this long length here, that has to be equal to the opposite side, which would be 8 plus our little unknown section here, okay? Because if we were to make a rectangle, if we were to make a small rectangle here, then our opposite side would be this 8 plus this little extra bit here. So 11 has to equal 8 plus this little extra bit, and this extra bit is our unknown because you can see that's the same length as if we were to connect from here to here. So 8 plus what gives you 11? Well, it's 8 plus 3 because 11 minus 8 is 3. So 8 plus 3 gives you 11, which means that our little unknown value must be 3. Because that way, when we have 8 plus 3, we have 11 here and we have 11 here, and they're opposite sides of a rectangle. So that works, that makes sense. If we had another value here, we would not have 11 here, and then our opposite sides of our rectangle would not be equal, which is impossible. So it has to be 3, which means that this also has to be 3. And we could have drawn a large rectangle instead up here. And then we would have said that this gap here, this length is 8, and this is 3. And 3 plus 8 gives you 11. So if we wanted to now find the perimeter, if we wanted to calculate the perimeter, we've got all our sides. We know this is 3, we know this is 5. We can just add all those sides up. So 11 plus 12 plus 3 plus 7 plus 8 plus 5. So this is our answer here.